What's going on, guys? I'm back with yet another video on Street Outlaws and a weekly breakdown, along with some information that a lot of people has been chomping at the bit for, and that is, where was Big Chief when he missed the episode and when he disappeared, fell off the earth, whatever you want to call it, for a minute. So with that being said, let's kick this video off right here. Before I do anything, I want to let y'all in on a little bit of information about the new Murder Nova. As you know, Sean pulled the OG car off of the list, and it was supposedly to get ready for the new car and whatnot. Well, the new car is going to be sitting at number 10 on the last episode of season 10. On a side note, the podcast is coming back. It will be a minute. They have said that they want to make the podcast just as much as we want to hear it, so it will come back. They just have to wait. It will be a minute before it comes back, but the podcast, the Chief and Sean Show, is coming back. So, good news, but they made a Facebook live feed the other day. If you want to find it, go on Facebook and go to the Crow 405's page, and it's like an hour and 11 minutes, a little over an hour long. And they answered a lot of questions on there, and some of the information I'm going to give you come from that. So if you don't want to watch the whole video, I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. But before that, let's talk about what happened Monday night, which was last night. This is Tuesday. This video will probably be uploaded on around Thursday. But let's get started and talk about the races that happened last night. First race I want to talk about is Jeff Luss racing Dominator. That 57 is quick. If you want to see some more videos of that 57, go back in my videos, and I have a video of him when he unveiled it at the Tri-5 Nationals this year. It was the same weekend as Outlaw Armageddon. He was not at Outlaw Armageddon, he was there. He unveiled the car, and it is a beautiful car. It is probably the best looking car on the 405 right now. It is an immaculate looking car. There's videos of it right now on the screen. Beautiful, beautiful car. Stupid fast. What can you say? If he wouldn't have jumped, he would have outrun Dominator. He would be sitting at 10. But he said in a post on Instagram today, if I ain't mistaken, that there will be a better outcome next week. So that tells you he gets on the list. But one more thing I want to talk about this week, and it involves the new rules, which the new rule states if you call someone out and lose, then you have to defend your spot before you can call them back out, which put Ryan Martin, sitting at number 1, could not even race this weekend because he had to wait on everybody below him to defend their spot. So that is going to be a hitch in the whole plan of that, which it done the list justice as far as it kept people from locking up the list as far as calling them out at the end of the track, or coming straight back and calling them out, and keeps the list moving, keeps the list flowing. But one more thing I want to address right fast is this list is 10 cars, and the 405, the cast of Street Outlaws, I should say, has more than 10 cars. The Reaper and Dominator, and some of the bottom 2 or 3, Kamikaze, because Kamikaze does hold his own, and especially when it becomes twin turbo on the list, I feel like he will do a lot more because, that car has always been looked at as a slow car, and there's nothing about that car slow. That car is amazing. That car is super fast. That car is not a pile of junk anymore. It's not throw together parts from everyone. That car is a well-built, beautiful example of a race car. But The next race I want to talk about is Reaper when he raced farm truck. Now, if you know anything about Reaper, he's got several cars. He has a drag week car, and he had his motor out of his drag week car in the Reaper car, and he made a blistering fast pass against farm truck. And it kind of makes me wonder if he was overpowering the road this whole time, if he was throwing too much at it, hoping it would stick. You know, he's a prep track guy. I hate to say even a grudge race, he's a prep track guy, and he's used to pouring it all to it, and you just can't do it on the street. You know, you stand a better chance with 1,000 horsepower on the street than you do with 3,000 horsepower on the street. And with that smaller motor making less horsepower, he done way, way better. And then he turned around and raced Dominator after that. And when he left, his nitrous was not hitting. And when the nitrous started hitting, he was reeling Dominator in hard. I mean, really hard. He was another 30 foot, he'd have had him. But, you know, run out of real estate, all he can do is all he can do. Okay, one more race I want to talk about is Doc and Dave. And Dave's been on a winning streak. Dave's won a few races, and Doc about hit Dave. It looked like Doc hit the curb. They said he didn't. He crossed lanes and about hit him. If you notice, Doc's car has been darting one way or the other the past several weeks, and it makes you wonder if it's Doc or if it's something in the car that is causing him to dart, which is darting both ways, so you wouldn't think that it would be, you know, a bar or a link or, you know, something like that broke, because I think it would dart the same way every time. But with that being said, one more thing I want to say is about Shane's car. And this week in TV land would have been filmed a couple of weeks after the Bristol race where he wrecked. He had that car back up. There's a video right now on the screen of him making his first test pass after the wreck without a front clip. You know, this happened before the last podcast because they talked about it in the podcast. But that's one of Shane's problems he had. It did not have any aerodynamics on the car. The car was a big brick in the front. He had zero aerodynamics, was not, you know, when you're making as much power and going as fast as these cars are, every bit of aero helps. You know, you have to get the weight proportion from the front to the back correct. You know, with him missing that front clip, that throwed his whole setup, that throwed everything that he knew about that race car off and messed his game up 100%. And you could tell by the pass that Shane made. Shane always goes A to B. That don't happen to Shane. He bobbled, and it was game over. And the last race I want to talk about that happened last night, and that was Monza and Chief. Monza had Chief. As I've said for the past 2 or 3 videos, that car of Monza's is on. That car is insane fast. We all know how fast Chief's car is, and Monza's car was outrunning Chief. He was going to outrun Chief. Monza bobbled, Chief nosed him out. Chief said his car wasn't hitting right, something wasn't right. I can't remember the excuse he gave, but he said his car wasn't hitting right, wasn't running right. But, you know, they all give excuses. Like I've said before, you can take every excuse they can come up with, put them in a big ball, throw it up, and grab one, and they're going to give an excuse. Very seldom do you hear them say, I was simply outran. And from a lot of the people that I know that watch the show actually do not like some of the guys because of the excuses they give. And, you know, nobody wants to say, hey, he's just got a faster car, or I just got outrun. But if that's the case, say it, you know. They all have an excuse. My car, nitrous wouldn't fire, and, you know, it spun, hit the wheelie bar. You know, there's just a handful of excuses that, you know, it didn't plug socket, it didn't catch a gear, it missed, you know, missed a shit, whatever. You just got outdriven and outrun. Simple, plain and simple. That's what happened. Say it, you know. Nobody's going to think no less of you for saying it, because you're dealing with the fastest guys on this earth. So it is what it is. Chief's car is wicked fast. Monza's car is wicked fast. If you're going to get outrun by someone, at least it was somebody fast. But with that being said, that's about all the races I want to talk about. One thing I do want to say before I go into the deal about Chief is I made a video, uploaded it today, which was today is the 30th, and it's the fastest guys in no prep. I'm going to do another part 2 or whatever you want to call it to that video, but watch that video, tell me what you think, tell me what your top is, and I've already had a bunch of guys tell me you can't have this list without Chief. I did mention Chief in the video, but Chief will tell you he's not a no prep guy. So that's one reason why I left Chief off of that video. Now I want to answer the $1 million question, and that is, what happened to Chief? Where was Chief during all this? Why did he miss race nights? Where was he at? I've heard so much stuff. He was in rehab, he got fired, all this, that, and the other. None of that was true. He just simply wasn't there. I truly feel like there were some contract issues, but according to him, he's been in the shop, he's been working, he's been bettering himself, he's been making himself faster. The video that I was talking about that was on Facebook, go watch it, and that will answer a lot of the questions you may have about Chief. A lot of you may have already seen it. If you have, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go watch it. But it is a pretty long video, which a lot of it, Chief and Sean just got brand new race trailers, and a lot of the video is talking about that. And they worked out some kind of deal with the guy who manufactures the trailers. They set it up just like a no prep or street race guy would need, and they're hoping to sell some, in return get theirs cheaper, which, hey, it's the name of the game. Do what you got to do, get your money, whatever. But Chief hadn't went nowhere. Chief is still in Midwest Street Cars. According to him, he's been making cars faster, going over everything. They got several cars that are working on small tire lists. He's got Caddy Jack. They got Dime Piece. They got the Phantom's got his truck. There's several going on in there. So if you haven't already watched that video, go watch it, and that will answer a lot of your questions. Also, I'm going to make a video this week about Memphis. And if there's any information you want to give me or any information you know other than what you already know on television or what was in the JJ podcast, put it in the email address that's on the screen right now, jeastracing@gmail.com. And if there's anything else regarding any of the guys you want to send me, let me know. Anything to do with street racing, no prep racing, racing fast cars, building new cars, whatever, send it to the email address on the screen. And I'm going to make a JJ video this week or weekend, and it's going to kind of try to sum up JJ in one video along with the past 3 episodes of Memphis Street Outlaws. But I'm going to end this video right here. It's cold as shit again here. So with that being said, I love each and every one of you. Thank you very much for watching, and Godspeed.